The rain hammered the windshield like it had a personal grudge, turning the highway into a blurry mess of taillights and regret. I'd blown it again. Shane's birthday bash was probably in full swing by now, laughter echoing through his family's sprawling backyard in that perfect slice of suburban Ohio where everyone pretends life's a John Hughes movie. My phone buzzed relentlessly on the passenger seat. Dude, where are you? Party's lit without you. Then another, come on. Man, everyone's asking. I gripped the wheel tighter, the wipers slapping back my excuses. A flat tire 20 miles out, thunder that shook the earth, and the gnawing fear that showing up soaked and late would just highlight how I'd been drifting away from everyone lately. From him. I pulled over at a dingy rest stop, the kind with flickering neon and semis idling like judgmental giants. That's when the unknown number lit up my screen. I almost let it go to voicemail, but something, maybe the storm's fury mirroring my own, made me answer. Hello, Alex? It's Brandon. Shane's dad. His voice cut through the static like a lifeline, warm and steady, the faint drawl of someone who'd grown up cheering for the Buckeyes. Heard you got held up. Don't sweat it. Swing by anyway. We've got cake left, and the grill's still hot. It'll just be us, quieter that way. I froze, water dripping from my hair onto the cracked vinyl seat. Brandon Hayes, the man who'd coached our little league team back in high school. The one who fixed Shane's beat-up Chevy with grease-stained hands and a grin that made you believe in second chances. I'd always seen him as this unbreakable pillar, tall, broad-shouldered, with eyes like polished oak that seemed to see right through your bullshit. Why was he calling? Shane never mentioned his dad playing host to stragglers. Yeah, sure. Be there in 30. The drive blurred into a haze of what-ifs. What if Shane was pissed? What if I walked in and everyone stared? The outsider who'd bailed on his big night? But deeper, gnawing at the edges. What if this was the universe's cruel joke, forcing me to face the secret I'd buried since freshman year of college, the one that started with a stolen glance at Brandon during a backyard barbecue, his laugh booming over the sizzle of burgers, and ended with me questioning every straight-laced assumption I'd clung to about myself. By the time I pulled into the Hayes driveway, the storm had eased to a drizzle, streetlights pooling gold on the wet pavement. The house glowed like a beacon, white siding, American flags fluttering from the porch, the faint thump of music leaking from an open window upstairs where the party's dregs lingered. No cars lined the street anymore. They'd all scattered like confetti after the climax. I killed the engine, heart slamming against my ribs. This was stupid. Turn around. Go home to your empty apartment and microwave dinner. But the front door swung open before I could bolt. There he was, Brandon, silhouetted against the warm spill of light, a dish towel slung over his shoulder like some domestic cowboy. Alex, get in here before you drown. He waved me up the steps, his smile easy, but his eyes, they lingered a beat too long, scanning me from drenched hair to scuffed sneakers. Shane's upstairs, passed out on the couch with half the football team. Said to tell you he's saving you a slice of that god-awful chocolate monstrosity his mom used to make. I stepped inside, the scent of charcoal and vanilla hitting me like a hug I didn't deserve. The living room was a battlefield of red Solo cups and crumpled napkins. Fairy lights tangled over the mantel like forgotten dreams. Brandon closed the door behind me, the click echoing too loud in the sudden quiet. Grab a seat. I'll heat up some grub. You look like you could use it. I nodded, sinking into the worn leather armchair by the fireplace, the one I'd crashed in 100 times during sleepovers with Shane. Photos lined the mantel, Shane as a gap-toothed kid, arms slung around his sister, Brandon and his wife at their wedding, her veil catching the wind like a promise. She'd passed 5 years back, cancer stealing her laugh before it could fade. The house still felt like her territory, every quilt and knick-knack a ghost. Brandon reappeared with 2 plates piled high, grilled chicken, potato salad, that cake towering like a guilty pleasure. He handed me one and dropped into the couch across from me, knees almost brushing mine in the cozy space. So, spill. What held you up? Shane was pacing like a caged tiger, flat tire in the middle of nowhere. Storm hit like a freight train. I forked into the food, avoiding his gaze. Lies came easy these days. Truth was the luxury I couldn't afford. He chuckled, low and rumbling. Sounds about right for Friday in July. Ohio weather's got a flair for drama. We ate in companionable silence at first, the kind that fills with unspoken stories. But then he leaned forward, elbows on knees, plate balanced precariously. You know, Shane talks about you nonstop. Alex this, Alex that. You're like the brother he never had. Or hell, the better one. He crept up my neck. Brother. The word landed like a punch. Yeah, well, he's the one holding us together. Without him, I'd be lost. Brandon's eyes softened, the lines around them crinkling like old leather. Family does that. Or friends who feel like it. He paused, fork hovering. But you seem off lately. Distant. Everything all right? I swallowed hard, the cake turning to ash in my mouth. How do you tell a man like him, straight arrow dad, community pillar, that you've been wrestling demons he couldn't imagine? That every time I saw him toss a football with Shane in the yard, sweat glistening on his forearms, something twisted inside me, that I'd come out to a handful of friends last semester, only to shove it back down when Shane joked about landing a hot chick over beers. Just college crap. Finals. Jobs. The usual grind. He nodded, but didn't push. Instead, he stood, grabbing our empty plates. Come on. Let's get some air. Backyard's cleared out, peaceful now. We stepped onto the porch, the drizzle a soft patter on the roof. Fireflies winked in the yard, the grill still smoking faintly like a dying campfire. Brandon leaned against the railing, arms crossed, staring out at the dark silhouette of the oak tree where Shane and I had carved our initials as kids. Remember that summer? You two built that tree house. Fell right through the floor on the first climb. A laugh despite myself, the memory loosening the knot in my chest. Yeah. Shane blamed me for the weak nails. Of course he did. Brandon turned, his profile sharp against the night. Kid's got a knack for dodging blame. Takes after his old man. I guess. There was a shadow in his voice, a crack I'd never heard before. You? Nah. You're the fixer. Always have been. The words slipped out, laced with more than I intended. Admiration. Longing. The air thickened, charged like the storm hadn't fully passed. He met my eyes then, really met them, and time stuttered. Not everything, Alex. Some things. You can't hammer back together. His hand brushed my arm as he shifted, accidental. Electric. Like after Ellen. I fixed the house. The routines. But the quiet? That sticks. I wanted to say something profound, bridge the gap yawning between us. Instead, I muttered, I'm sorry. For all of it. Don't be. He straightened, clapping my shoulder, a dad's gesture, but his palm lingered. Hey, you sticking around tomorrow? Shane's got that shift at the diner. But we could. I don't know. Shoot some hoops. Or talk. Really talk. My pulse thundered. Yeah, I'd like that. As I drove home that night, wipers swishing away the last of the rain, I couldn't shake the feeling that I just stepped off a cliff. Brandon Hayes wasn't just Shane's dad anymore. He was a question mark, a pull I couldn't ignore. And in the heartland of America, where flags fly high and secrets simmer low. That made him dangerous. Little did I know, the real storm was just brewing. The next morning hit like a hangover without the booze, sun slicing through my blinds. Phone dead from last night's oversight. I plugged it in, watching notifications flood, Shane's voice memo. Groggy and forgiving. Bro, you missed epic karaoke. But Dad said you showed? Legend. Hit me up later, we're grilling again tonight. Bring your A game. Then a text from Brandon. Doors open if you beat Shane here. Coffee's on. My stomach flipped. Casual. Neighborly. But the memory of his hand on my shoulder burned like a brand. I showered fast. The hot water doing nothing to rinse away the what the hells swirling in my head. At 22, fresh out of community college and scraping by as a barista in Columbus, I prided myself on keeping life simple. Friends, family, the occasional hookup swiped right in a city that didn't ask too many questions. Coming out had been a quiet rebellion, text to my sister, a teary call to Mom in Florida. Dad? He nodded over Zoom, muttered something about as long as you're happy, then changed the subject to the Reds' pitching rotation. Classic Midwest stoicism. But this? Crushing on your best friend's dad? That was a plot twist from a bad Lifetime movie. The kind they air between sermons on Sunday cable. Brandon was 48, widowed, the guy who volunteered at the food bank and mowed his elderly neighbor's lawn without fanfare. Straight as the Ohio River, or so I'd thought. Until last night, when his gaze held mine like he was seeing the man I was trying to become. I threw on jeans and a faded OSUT, grabbed my keys. The drive to the Haze was muscle memory, 15 minutes of cornfields and billboards hawking truck stops and Jesus. Their neighborhood was the American dream distilled. Ranch houses with wraparound porches, kids on bikes dodging sprinklers, the distant hum of a lawnmower like a national anthem. I parked behind Brandon's F-150, the one with the Buckeye Pride bumper sticker, and let myself in through the side gate to the backyard. No knocking. That's how it was with the Haze. The yard was a time capsule, trampoline sagging from disuse, the aforementioned oak looming like a sentinel. Brandon was at the picnic table, newspaper spread out, a mug steaming beside him. He looked up, that easy smile breaking wide. Morning. Sunshine. Thought you'd bailed on me. Nah. Wouldn't miss Free Joe. I slid onto the bench across from him, our knees bumping under the table. Accidental again? The air smelled of fresh earth and dark roast. Birds chattering like they approved. He pushed the pot my way. Black, right? Shane says you take it like a trooper. No cream. No mercy. I poured, the ceramic warm against my palms. Guilty. Trains you for the real world. We talked easy at first. OSU's fall prospects. The latest scandal rocking City Hall. Some councilman caught with his hand in the till. Classic Ohio graft. But the pauses stretched, heavy with unsaid things. Brandon folded the paper, his fingers thick and callous from years of construction gigs. Listen, Alex. About last night. I didn't mean to unload. Ellen's stuff. It's old news. I shook my head. Too quick. Hey, it's cool. I get it. Lost like that. It rewires you. His eyes searched mine, stormy like the night before. Yeah. Makes you see people different. What you want. What you thought you wanted. He leaned back, rubbing his jaw. Shane's mom. She was my anchor. High school sweethearts. The whole picket fence fairy tale. But after, I started asking questions. About myself. Things I'd buried under duty and routine. My breath caught. Questions? My mind raced. Divorce rumors? Midlife pivot to some hobby like woodworking? But the way he said it, voice low and raw, Felt like confession. Like what? He glanced toward the house, as if Shane might materialize. Like why certain glances stick with you. Why a laugh from a guy at the hardware store lingers longer than it should. He met my eyes again, unflinching. I've been alone a long time. Alex. Pretending it's fine. But seeing you last night, wet puppy showing up, owning your mess, it hit me. You're not pretending. The world tilted. I gripped the mug like a shield, heat searing my skin. Brandon. Shane's truck just pulled in, he cut in, standing abruptly. The gate creaked, and there was my best friend, all lanky limbs and bedhead, hauling grocery bags like a pack mule. Yo, you beat me here? Traitor. Shane dumped the bags on the table, clapping my back hard enough to jolt me. Dad, you interrogate him yet? Spill the party deets. Brandon chuckled, the mask slipping back on seamless. Nah, we're good. Burgers sound right. As the day unfolded, it was like slipping into an old rhythm. Shane and I tossing a frisbee, Brandon flipping patties with tongs that looked comically small in his hands. Laughter boomed. Mustard squirted, the sun baking our shoulders golden. But under it all, a current hummed. Every time Brandon passed me soda, our fingers brushed. When Shane recounted the party's chaos, some cousin puking in the azaleas, Brandon's gaze flicked to me. Loaded. By evening, the yard glowed with string lights, crickets chirping back up to Shane's Spotify playlist. He cracked open a beer, his fake ID a running joke, sprawling on a lawn chair. Man, Alex, you gotta stop flaking. Feels off without you. Guilt twisted like a knife. Won't happen again. Promise. But as I said it, catching Brandon's eye across the fire pit, I wondered what promises I could keep. Shane yawned, checking his watch. Shift starts in an hour. Dad, you got this. He hugged me quick, bro hug. All back slaps, and peeled out in his Chevy, exhaust puffing like a dragon. Silence settled, thick as the humid air. Brandon poked the fire, sparks dancing upward. He's a good kid. Worries about you, though. Says you've been weird since spring. My throat tightened. Weird. Code for the texts I dodged. The nights I bailed on game nights to scroll Grindr in the dark. Yeah. Figuring shit out. Brandon nodded, setting the poker aside. He scooted his chair closer, the firelight carving shadows on his face. Me too. We're trying to. His voice dropped. Alex, what I said earlier. It's not nothing. I've known since I was your age. Buried it deep. Married Ellen thinking it'd fix me. It did. For a while. But now, it's like waking up. I couldn't breathe. This was Brandon Hayes, the Brandon, admitting he was gay? By whatever label fit. It shattered every safe box I'd built. Why tell me? Because you see me. Not the dad. The coach. The guy. He reached out, hand hovering near mine. And I see you. Struggling. Brave as hell for it. Our fingers touched, deliberate this time. Skin on skin, rough and real. The fire crackled approval. But inside, panic warred with want. Shane's face flashed his trust. Our history. Betrayal loomed like the oak's shadow. I can't, I whispered, pulling back. Shane, I know. Brandon's hand dropped, pain etching his features. Family first. Always. I fled then, mumbling excuses about an early shift. The drive home was a blur. Radio blaring some country ballad about lost loves. My phone buzzed. Shane? You okay? Looked spaced. Then Brandon, no pressure. Doors still open. That night, sleep evaded me. I paced my cramped apartment. Posters of bands I'd never see peeling from walls. America promised reinvention, new cities, new you, but here, in the buckle of the Bible Belt, Secrets festered like untreated wounds. I wanted Brandon's steadiness, his quiet courage. But crossing that line, it'd torch everything. 2 weeks passed in a haze of avoidance. Shane's texts piled up. Game night, road trip, each a barb. I blamed work. Midterms, lies stacking like cordwood. Brandon went silent, a ghost in my rear view. Until the voicemail, left at 2 a.m. One muggy August night. Alex, it's me. Shane's in trouble. Hospital. Get here. My blood turned to ice. I threw on clothes, tires screeching out of the lot. The ER waited like a maw, fluorescent hell. The stench of bleach and fear. Brandon paced the lobby, face ashen, flannel rumpled. Car accident. Kid from the party, drunk driver, sideswiped him on 71. Is he? Concussion. Broken arm. Stable. His voice cracked. But seeing him like that. God. Alex. I pulled him into a hug. Instinct. Desperate. He clung back, shoulders shaking. In that sterile limbo, walls crumbled. I'm here, I murmured. For both of you. Hours blurred. Waiting room coffee. Shane's groggy thumbs up from his bed. But when dawn broke, Brandon drove me home, his truck a cocoon of quiet. At my door, he turned. Thank you for showing up. Always. The word hung, heavy with subtext. He cupped my cheek, tender. Testing. Our lips met, soft and inevitable, tasting of salt and second chances. Fireworks without the boom, just us, unraveling. But as his taillights faded, dread coiled. Shane would heal. Our secret that might kill us all. Fall crept in like a thief, painting Ohio's leaves in defiant reds and golds, as if mocking the gray fog settling over my life. Shane's accident became legend. Our group chat exploded with memes of his cast as a new accessory, hospital jello as gourmet. He milked it for weeks, hobbling into the diner on crutches. Charming tips from soccer moms with tales of his near-death swerve. Me, I played the loyal sidekick, stocking his fridge with energy drinks, binge-watching The Office reruns until my eyes burned. But every visit to the Hayes house was a minefield. Brandon's presence a live wire humming just out of reach. We'd stolen moments since that kiss, stolen because that's what they were. A brush of hands in the kitchen while Shane napped, a late-night text thread dissecting Call Me By Your Name, his pick, my heart attack. Leo's courage, he'd written once. Wish I had half. I'd fired back. You do. Every day. Flirty. Safe. Until it wasn't. The guilt gnawed deeper with each evasion. Shane's easy trust a spotlight on my deceit. You're my rock. Man, he'd say, clinking his good arm against mine. Rock? I was quicksand. Brandon felt it too. Our first real date, if you could call it that, was a fluke, born of desperation. Shane's cast came off mid-October, and he dragged us to a haunted hayride at the county fair. All corn mazes and chainsaw-wielding actors in hockey masks. American Halloween at its corn syrup finest. Funnel cakes dusted with powdered sugar. Kids in superhero capes shrieking at animatronic witches. We piled into a tractor-pulled wagon, the night crisp with hay scent and bonfire smoke. Shane flirted shamelessly with a barista from his shift, vanishing into the crowd post-ride for just a quick chat. That left us, Brandon and me, wandering the midway under strings of chili pepper lights. Cotton candy? He asked, buying 2 sticks without waiting for an answer. Pink fluff dissolved on my tongue, sticky sweet like the tension. We ended up at the Ferris wheel, the line snaking slow. Remember bringing Shane here as a kid? I said, nodding at a father hoisting his toddler onto his shoulders. He puked after one loop. Brandon laughed, the sound warm against the chill. Yeah. Blamed the evil clowns. Kid's got a vivid imagination. He paused, eyes on the glittering wheel. Makes me think. What if we'd had this? You and me. Hypotheticals aside. The carny barked next, and we climbed in, the metal bucket swaying as it clicked skyward. Columbus sprawled below, stadium lights winking. The Scioto River a dark ribbon. At the top, it stilled, the world holding its breath. Brandon turned to me, his face close in the dim. Alex, this us, it's real. But Shane, I know, my voice was a whisper. He's family. More than. He kissed me then, fierce and unapologetic, hands framing my face like I was porcelain. The wheel creaked downward, but we lingered in that stolen apex, breaths mingling with the scent of diesel and dreams. We'll figure it, he murmured against my lips. Slow. Right, but slow is a lie. November brought Thanksgiving, turkey and tension. The Hayes table groaning under Ellen's recipes scrawled in faded ink. Shane's aunt and uncle flew in from Cleveland, regaling us with tales of lake-effect snow and Brown's futility. I sat across from Brandon, foot nudging his under the table, a Morse code of reassurance. Laughter flowed like gravy, but my smile felt painted on. Every time his eyes met mine over pie, sparks flew invisible. Dangerous. The bomb dropped 2 days later. Black Friday madness still buzzing from the outlets. Shane cornered me at the diner during his break, sliding into my booth with a milkshake and a scowl. We need to talk. My gut plummeted. Yeah? What's up? He stirred the shake, cherry stem bobbing like a noose. You and Dad. What's going on? The world narrowed to the Formica tabletop. Grease stains mocking my flush. What? Nothing. Man. Why? Don't bullshit me. Alex. His eyes, Ellen's eyes, sharp and unyielding, pinned me. I saw you. At the hayride. The way he looks at you. Like. More than a friend's kid. Denial surged. Hot and bitter. Dude, you're seeing things. Stress from the crash, or save it. He leaned in, voice low. I'm not blind. And I'm not mad. Confused? Yeah. But I've known Dad's secret for years. Found his browser history after Mom. Pride marches. Forums. He thinks I don't know. Air whoosh from my lungs. Shane, but you. Hurt cracked his tone. My best friend? Sneaking around like some soap opera? What the hell? Alex, you could have told me. I'm your brother. Man, the betrayal reversed, his knowledge a gut punch. My secrecy the blade. I was protecting you. Us. It's complicated, Age. Everything. Complicated. He barked a laugh. Bitter as burnt coffee. That's code for coward. He's my dad. You're supposed to have my back. Not stab it. He stormed out. Bell jingling like judgment. I sat frozen. Shake melting into a pink puddle. Text flew. Sorry. Let's talk. No reply. Hours later, Brandon called. Voice wrecked. He knows. Confronted me after you left. Says we're destroying him. Panic clawed. What do we do? End it. The words landed like frostbite. For Shane. I can't lose my son over this. I drove to the Hayes that night. Rain sheeting the windshield, echo of that first storm. The porch light burned accusatory. Brandon answered, face haggard, flannel untucked. Alex, don't. But I pushed inside, words tumbling. This isn't fair. We didn't ask for it. He closed the door soft, leaning against it. No. But life's not. Shane's upstairs, barricaded. Says he hates us both. Tears stung. He doesn't mean. Yeah, he does. Brandon's eyes glistened. I came out to him tonight. Full story. He threw a lamp. Call me a liar. A fake. For hiding so long. The house groaned. settling like our illusions. We sank onto the couch, knees touching but worlds apart. I love you, I blurted, the words escaping like prisoners. From the start. But if this breaks him, Brandon pulled me close, forehead to mine. I love you too. That's the knife twist. We held on, breaths sinking in the dim, until Shane's door slammed upstairs, a gunshot finality. Days bled into silence. Shane ghosted me, blocked on everything, his diner shifts covered by cousins. Brandon's texts dwindled to logistics. He's talking to me. Barely. I threw myself into work. Steam burns and small talk my armor. But the void echoed, nights scrolling old photos. Shane's grin at accusation. Brandon's touch of phantom ache. Then, the unexpected, a manila envelope in my mailbox. No return address. Inside, a letter in Shane's scrawl, pages thick with ink blots. Alex, I hate you. Or I did. Still do. Some days. But mostly, I hate the lies. We were supposed to be ride or die. You and Dad. It's gross. Wrong in my head like incest light. But that's my shit. Therapy's unpacking it. Yeah, I'm going. Dad made me. The shock? Finding out you both chose silence over me. Betrayal's a bitch. But Dad told me everything. How he buried himself for Mom. For me. How you fought it. Same as him. You're both idiots. But brave ones. I'm not okay. Not yet. But I'm trying. Come to Christmas? Neutral ground. No sneaking. Just family. Whatever that means now. Don't fuck it up again. Shane. Relief crashed. Salty as tears. I called Brandon. Voice breaking. He wrote, "We met at the river that weekend. Neutral, as promised. Bundled in coats against the December bite. We walked the towpath. Frosted grass crunching. No touches. Just words raw. Excavating. He wants us to try," Brandon said. Slow. Open. I nodded. Breath fogging. For him, but as the sun dipped, painting the water copper, I saw it. Not just survival, but possibility. America, land of reinvention, might just let us rewrite this. Christmas Eve, dawn brittle. The kind of cold that seeps into bones and lingers like doubt. I'd driven home to Mom's in Dayton the day before. Her craftsman cottage strung with lights that blinked like hesitant stars. She hugged me tight at the door, flour-dusted apron smelling of gingerbread. But her eyes, sharp as ever, caught the shadows under mine. Boy trouble, she teased, handing me a mug of spiked cider. Mom knew. She'd been my first call post coming out. Her response is simple, honey. Love's love. Just don't let it dim your light. I deflected with small talk, her garden club drama, Dad's latest fishing yarn from the garage. But sleep evaded. Shane's letter a talisman on my nightstand. Family. Whatever that means now. What did it mean? Fractured. Yes, but resilient. Like the Ohio River carving through stone over centuries. Christmas morning. I loaded the car with pies, Mom's pecan, a peace offering, and headed to the haze. The neighborhood shimmered under fresh snow, kids sledding on the hill with whoops that echoed my nerves. Brandon's truck sat in the drive, adorned with a wreath that screamed effort. I knocked, breath shallow. Shane answered, crutch-free but wary, his arms still scarred, faint from the cast. Hey, no hug, but no slam either. Progress. Hey, I held out the pie tin like a shield. Mom's specialty. No raisins, swore on it. He snorted, stepping aside. Smart. Come in. Dad's in the kitchen, burning the ham. The house enveloped me, pine boughs on the mantel, a Charlie Brown Christmas droning from the TV. Brandon emerged, apron tied loose. cheeks flushed from oven heat. Alex. His smile was tentative, eyes saying volumes. Merry Christmas. You too. Our hands brushed passing the pie. Electric, but chaste. Dinner was a tightrope. Shane at one end, picking at green beans, Brandon carving meat with surgical precision, me in the middle, filling silences with weather and sports. Buckeyes crushed Michigan, I ventured. Shane nodded, grudging thaw. Yeah, watched with the guys. You missed a hell of a game. Ouch. But fair. Next one's on me. Beers at the tavern. Maybe. He glanced at Brandon. Then me. If Dad doesn't tag along like a chaperone. Tension spiked. Forks clinking. Brandon cleared his throat. Shane. No. It's cool. Shane set us down. Elbows on table. Look. This sucks. All of it. But yelling didn't fix shit. So. Rules. No PDA under my roof. No secrets. And Alex, you tell me everything from here on. No more bro code breaches. I nodded. Throat tight. Deal. I'm sorry. Shane. For the hurt. He exhaled. Shoulders slumping. Yeah. Me too. For the blow-up. A beat. Dad's a good guy. You. Just wish you'd trusted me sooner. Brandon reached across, squeezing Shane's hand. We will. Starting now. The afternoon unfolded fragile. Board games by the fire. Monopoly devolving into mock bankruptcies. Hot cocoa spiked with Kahlua. As dusk fell, Shane begged off to a friend's for eggnog, leaving us with a gruff, don't do anything stupid. The door clicked shut, and the air shifted, charged, alive. Brandon and I cleared the table in sync, dishes clinking like chimes. He's trying, he murmured, suds bubbling over the sink. We all are. I dried a plate, our arms brushing. It's enough. He turned off the tap, facing me. Water droplets clung to his lashes like unshed tears. Is it for you? The question hung. Raw. I set the towel down, stepping close. More than. But Shane comes first. He nodded, but his hands found my waist, pulling me in. But this, us, we deserve a shot. Our kiss was slow, deliberate, a reclamation. No Ferris wheel rush, just depth, the taste of cloves and forgiveness. We broke apart breathless, foreheads touching. Slow, I echoed his earlier promise. But real. The weeks that followed were a delicate dance. Shane and I rebuilt brick by brick, late-night drives blasting Springsteen, confessional texts about crushes and heartbreaks. He opened up about his own doubts. A bi-curious flirtation with a co-worker he'd chalked up to experimentation. Makes me get it. A little, he admitted over wings at Buffalo Wild Wings. The hiding. But don't make me regret this. Brandon and I carved space, coffee runs in Columbus, hikes along the Hocking Hills where trails twisted like our path. No labels yet, just two men navigating the gray. His hand in mine on empty paths feeling like victory. America unfolded around us. Mall Santas, Super Bowl hype, the relentless churn of bills and dreams. But in stolen evenings, watching It's a Wonderful Life on his couch, Shane's pick. Ironically, I felt anchored. Climax came unbidden. Valentine's weekend. Shane planned a bro trip to Cincinnati, Red's fantasy camp. A nod to our Little League days. Brandon drove us, the cab thick with unspoken truces. At the hotel, Shane bunked with me, but dawn brought chaos, food poisoning from sketchy diner tacos. He spent the day curled in agony, me playing nurse while Brandon scouted pharmacies. By evening, fever broke, but Shane was wrecked, vulnerable, stripped. Alex, he rasped from the bed, ice pack on his brow. If this, us being cool, means you and Dad. I need to know you're in it for real. Not some rebound pity. I sat beside him, heart hammering. It's real. Scary real. But yeah. He nodded, eyes glassy. Good? 'Cause I love you. Dumbass. Both of you. A pause. Then, tell him I said that. When he's back, Brandon returned with ginger ale, and Shane waved us off. Go. Walk it off. I'm crashing. We escaped to the riverfront. The Ohio churning dark under sodium lamps. Skyline glittered, Great American Ballpark. A beacon. Brandon stopped, turning to me. Shane cornered me earlier. Before the drive. Said if I hurt you, he'll disown me. Brother code now. Laughter bubbled. Relief sweet. Family's weird. The best kind. He pulled a small box from his coat. Velvet. Unassuming. Inside, 2 silver bands. Simple as vows unspoken. Not marriage. Not yet. But. Promise rings? Lame. I know. Tears pricked. Perfect. We slipped them on. Metal cool against skin. The click a seal. But life, that great dramatist, had one more twist. March brought Brandon's diagnosis. Prostate cancer. Early but insistent. Caught at a routine check. The kind men like him ignore until they can't. Treatable, the doc said in that sterile Akron clinic. Charts glowing like false hope. Surgery. Radiation. High odds. Shane raged first, fists clenched in the waiting room. Why him? Echoing off linoleum. Then resolve. Meal trains. Research binges. Me? I held Brandon through nights of fear, his head on my chest as he whispered, Don't want to leave you. Not now. You won't. Defiant. American. Fight it with everything. Surgery came in May. A blur of pre-ops and waiting vigils. Shane and I paced halls together, trading bad jokes to stave off dread. If he comes out with a third arm, you're explaining, Shane quipped. Laughter cracked the tension. Glue for our bonds. He pulled through, groggy in recovery. First words a gruff, missed lunch. We healed as a unit. Shane's diner shifts covering bills. My barista tips buying comics for his bedside. Summer bloomed, tentative. Chemo a shadow, but not the star. By July, anniversary of that rainy party, we gathered in the backyard. Grill smoking. Cake towering, no monstrosity this time. Shane raised a beer. To us. Messy, but ours. Brandon's arm around my waist. Open now. No hiding. To second chances. I clinked glasses. Heart full. To family. America's heartland isn't always kind. Secret scar. Taboos bite. But in the quiet victories, the hard-fought loves, we find grace. Brandon and I, we're still writing our story flawed, fierce, unbroken. And for the first time, I believe the ending's ours to shape.